imagine he just means all the younger generations that are playing the legacy characters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be. What the... almost dropped the forsaken word.
Better watch out.
What was the point of Phase 4 then if we weren't getting this? That was, like, we were getting introduced to all the next generation of heroes. Like, it just makes sense.
Filler, just like an anime. I don't know.
Filler.
Filler. You didn't need to watch it.
He's like,
just,
you know what? We're going to Naruto this bitch.
It was just supposed to be interesting.
We're going to Naruto
the
fudge out of it.
Fudge it. Fudge out of it.
Maybe that says more about us as we sit here and catch ourselves. Like, yeah.
Fudge yourself. Fudge out.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tardy to the Party, the weekly podcast centered around weekly news and reviews of the holy trinity of pop culture, Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. I'm your boy, J Sib, and to my left, as always,
KP's here.
and to my right,
The bull.
how are you boys this week?
Pretty good.
Had a sick
Can't
week.
complain.
Had a sick week, so I'm on the mend. So I'm
On the mend.
Yep, so a little bit ghostly at the moment, a little bit tired, haven't really eaten much, so
Ghostly.
a little ghostly. So hang
Might
on.
have to get ready to call.
Who are you going to call?
You know who I'm going to call.
We do it, just finish the job.
Oh, man. So, got a pretty interesting set of DC things there, Jay. I've got about the same amount of Marvel stuff.
I got a little bit of
You got some interesting...
You got some interesting nuggets.
You got some
I do.
interesting stuff. You've actually had quite a bit of interesting stuff.
yeah, there's quite a few callbacks in the Mando this week, so
Yeah, but I was more thinking of news, though.
well
And the news is interesting. I mentally remembered some of it, and I was like, kind of surprised by it, but...
I read so much, and some of it sticks.
Get there.
But like, especially like when Mando comes on Wednesday, anything that happened before Wednesday just wiped. It's like all the oh, that was a great point. I'm going to talk about that. Well, then I see what at the end of the episode, and just it's gone. It's gone.
And it's gone.
And it's gone.
All right, start off with DC this week. Real quick points. Batman Cape Crusader formerly axed on the HBO Max. Sorry, that was not that was louder than I
intense.
Anyway, axed on the HBO Max, but has been sold for 2 seasons over to Amazon Prime. So it is born again, as they say.
Born again.
Oh, shut the fuck. You dare compare that rich boy.
Rich boy.
Anyways, no, you just took me by surprise there when you were... Yeah, so my bad. Probably should be pretty good. I mean...
Hopefully. Prime's been doing a pretty good job of diversifying their portfolio and getting a lot of
I know. I need
superhero stuff, especially.
I know. I need to actually go into the app and kind of look for stuff to watch. You've told me the high fantasy show. I even started it and tried to watch it.
Is that Wheels of Time?
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, you said that to me, and I started it, and I remember thinking when I was watching it, the opening episode was sick. It's oh.
And then it drops.
And then it just dropped, and I kind of was... It turned me off, I'm not gonna lie.
It builds back pretty quick. Not like lightning quick, but it does. It takes a little bit more time to build the episode.
So there's that one. The news with this, though, is pretty interesting, and I'm hopeful for it, because we brought it up before. The show Invincible was just really well done. So hopefully, I don't know, whatever, same team or whatever, I don't know, but hopefully it's just we get another good animated and Batman one.
Hope so. Be interesting to see who they picked to, obviously voice the character Batman. So that'll be interesting to see. But
and I'll get the I didn't mind when they were doing the new 52 movies. Who was it? Because it's not Conroy, it's the other. They went with a different guy.
They should just go with Michael C. Hall, like they did in that one movie.
Yeah.
Except
what?
I think it was like Justice League God and Monsters, but it was in like an alternate universe where
I watched that the other day. I've watched like all those. Yeah.
Ever since Dexter came out, though, anytime I ever read a Batman comic, I always pictured Dexter's voice. So I was like, please just cast him as.
Because we're on the topic of them, I'll say this. So, just sidebar, I've never ever really cared to ever watch Big Bang Theory, and then I've just ran out of a background noise show.
Yeah.
So started watching that, but with Kukio, or however you say her last name, I probably just butchered it there. I mean, when I can't not just Harley Quinn now. It's just like, shit. This is all I can.
I swear.
Yeah.
It's bad. I mean, what'd you think though? Is it, obviously you never watched it before,
Big Bang?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Dude,
I relate way too much to Sheldon, which is bad because he's just an asshole. And I'm like, fuck, like, this is like reflective of me. Like, yeah, it makes me self-conscious of like, okay, I need to maybe
it's cool because
watch how I am.
It's cool because of the group. There's certain characteristics that each of the actors portray for the character that you can take. Like they're all nerds, and obviously we can fully relate. But there's certain characteristics about all of them, like nerddom, that you can relate to or not. And like you're not all Sheldon, but there's certain things, and I'm like, oh hell yeah.
It is.
I used to hate it. Though. I used to hate it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Big Bang.
Yeah, I used to hate it, dude. And then all of a sudden, I just found a couple episodes that I liked that strung together, and I was like, okay, all right.
Okay, so that was Long Halloween, though. So Jensen Ackles did Long Halloween. The actor who plays Soldier Boy in The Boys. But there's a different voice actor, though, for Batman that was in, like, those New 52 movies. Oh, that's what I'll look up.
Which one are you looking up?
The badass one, Justice League Dark.
Justice League Dark.
Dark Apocalypse War. The badass one where Superman tells Darkseid to his face he's gonna kill him. Kill him.
I'm gonna have to bleep that out, KP.
I can't stand that shit.
Jason O'Mara. That's who I think that just continue getting him.
Whoa, almost moved a tab everywhere. Next on the list, the Shazam 2 early reactions have come out. I'm just going to read a couple of them. Well, I'll read 3 here. Okay. Cinema Blend's Eric Eisenberg said, Shazam Fury of the Gods is a super fun and worthy sequel. Not a game-changing comic book movie, but it wins you over with its characters and energy, has some real surprises and knowing sensibility that suits it well, plus some creative and exciting monster action. Next, from Varieties. We love variety here. Courtney Howard pointed out... Sorry. Oh, never mind. Sorry. I'll read her actual quote. Shazam Fury of the Gods / Shazam movie is a superpowered sequel that packs a punch, a super solid, super fun, and super smart blend of hilarity, heart, and heroics, ramps up the action and irreverence to a delightful degree. Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, Rachel Zegler are MVPs. Love the dragon. And then the last one I will read if I can find it. Oh, it's from DC Studios head James Gunn himself. I love it. It's a complete blast. Zachary Levi and David F. Sandberg and Rachel Zegler. The whole crew killed it. And overall, most of them have been positive, but I mean...
Sounds like a family fun movie.
We've kind of honestly seen this before with lots of movies where the initial reactions are positive.
Character, too.
It's got to be almost. Yeah. In a way. Not all the way, but most of the way.
So, but a few of them seem that they, keep up kind of like the comedy in it and like the kid, immature nature of it, which is good. That's what I want out of a Shazam movie. So, good. Get a bunch of monsters for Billy and the Marvel family to fight. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't fall on its face like Black Adam. Let's go.
Oh man!
Because if you remember, the early reactions to that movie were positive too, and then when the reviews came out, Not so positive.
Yeah.
At least by the critics.
I liked it, man. I just-
Audience reviews were good.
Yeah, as they usually are. It's the
Well, I mean,
critics
it's
that
just
come in
the action movie.
and- right.
Then
As is tradition.
let's see, and then we had a little rumor that broke earlier this week. That our Superman no more, but the true Superman, Henry Cavill, was going to reprise his role in the DCU as Frankenstein. James Gunn pulls out his bow and arrow, snipes it from 2 miles away, seemingly impossible.
Yeah.
Retweets just completely false. We have our Frankenstein, our first choice, and it's not Henry. Was never discussed with him. And I think he even went on to say that other roles were.
So goes to show you, he's not even on the radar.
I couldn't
No,
find
I
his
think he
actual-
was. So now it's kind of coming out more from this that he was offered like different roles.
Okay,
They
so-
cut the. They didn't actually have his full tweet in here, and I couldn't find his tweet, so I don't know if it got deleted or if I just missed it.
'Cause I
But
think he
at the end
tweeted
of
that,
it,
didn't
at
he?
the end, at the end
Yeah.
of this like tweet, he says like we discussed other roles with Henry, or something to that effect. So
They
two things interesting.
probably agreed to separate ways because I just feel like Cavill was probably like, dude, if I literally am in your universe not as Superman, you're gonna have a whole bunch of pissed off fans.
Well, right.
Depends on how they do it, though.
But I don't know who else he could really play.
I mean, I would just be fucking tired of getting dicked around by now. Like,
Hear me out.
Well-
Hear me out. Even though Cavill may not be as super hyped about this because he wants to play like, the bright and shining Superman. But what if he plays? Is Ultraman? Basically the.
the opposite. or the other dimension,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
I almost said Ultraman, but I feel like that's wrong.
There's an Ultraman.
But Ultraman's and
Yeah,
that's like a Japanese thing,
That's right.
or not Japanese. Well,
That's right. I have
It might
watched,
be.
I have watched that.
Oh, it is Ultraman.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
I thought the
Earth
movie
3, yeah.
the movie that I watched.
oh, so wait, DC actually has an Ultraman?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He's like, so there's
I've read this
there's Earth
comic.
3, which basically has like an evil Justice League, and Ultraman is like the Superman of, I think he. Yeah, so I think that'd be interesting. Maybe maybe they brought him back
Because
he's still Clark Kent.
Yeah, he's just another dimension, and he's got like a different. He's got the same powers. I think he's got more.
Yeah, and it's just an evil Justice League. I think a couple of the members are different, but like different names. But I think he's still Clark, and according to Google, he's still Clark. But I think that would be interesting if they brought him back like that.
It's a sweet comic. It's fun to watch. It's fun to read.
Honestly, I love when anytime the Justice League faces off against them.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think what Crime Syndicate. That's what they're called. But yeah, so two things interesting out of that. Potentially Henry Cavill still in the mix later down the line, and then we don't know who they are yet, but apparently they have cast their Frankenstein.
It's interesting. So then now we can actually start writing some of it.
I think. Wait, which one? So is that for Creature Commandos? I don't know anymore. It's such a weird lineup. But next, the next two things kind of broke the last 24 hours. Tom King, in an interview, kind of spilled the beans.
Dim beans.
Let me make sure. Let me see if I can get the actual right. With Comic Pop, Tom King talked about an interesting detail about Superman Legacy. Here's the quote here. King, I mean, it's tough because there's stuff I can talk about and stuff I can't. It's totally fair question. I mean, James Gunn is a super nerd and he's super creative, right? He's the writer and director of the Superman movie, and he's sort of the creative force behind all of this, him and Peter Safran, and he reached out to a group of screenwriters and myself. Fantastic, amazing, whose names he's put out there to work on these amazing movies and TV shows as good as they can be. So he basically, just in the middle of it, James Gunn, he's the writer and director of Superman. So I don't know if, I imagine he wasn't supposed to say that. And as of Saturday the 11th at around 11 Central Time, James Gunn has not addressed that at all, as well as the next thing we're going to talk about. But although the director, David S. Senberg, actually address the next one. But yeah, any thoughts on, kind of the worst kept secret being officially, let out?
I mean, you can't spill the beans if the beans were already spilled. I mean, everything is they just continually just let it go. You might as well just fucking show us the movies as soon as they're off the press, like as soon as they're ready to go. Just no anticipation. Just let it all go, because we already know what most of the movies are about. We already know who directs most of the movies, who's cast in most of the movies, because most of the time your employees tell everybody.
Bro, it's the internet, man. The internet's undefeated.
I wonder how Gunn feels about it, because I know he's a huge fan of Tom King, because he's a comic writer. I think he might have been the one that wrote, is he the one that did Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow? Was Tom King the one that did that?
For one thing, I need to fucking get back to reading that. Huh?
Didn't finish it yet?
Not yet.
Yeah, I wonder if he's like, just kind of like, man, if I didn't love you, man.
He did do it. I just
you weren't who you are, boy.
Have you read it yet?
No, I've had no time to read. I've been wanting to read that and The Authority really bad. Also, happy, what was it, 10-year anniversary of The Authority or something like that. It just came out this week. James Gunn tweeted it. Yeah, so happy anniversary. Whatever one it is, Authority. I'll read you sometime soon. I really want to. I'm like really excited to read it. I just haven't had time. The last thing, I'll go ahead and we'll throw up a little potential spoilers here, even though Warner Brothers kind of spoiled it themselves with the TV spot.
Oh, wait. This is a good transition.
Wow. What do you know? You have a history of this. So, yeah, bang, spoilers up. We talked about it last week a little bit in a international trailer, but at least they tried to hide it a little better. You only got to see her bracers and a little bit of her tiara, a little bit, and the booties. But it's official. Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, is in Shazam! Fury of the Gods. In a TV spot this week, she officially shows up. And, yeah, they doomsdayed her. They just love spoiling what could be potentially crowd-popping moments just over TV spots and trailers that they just don't need to put them in.
Well, it seems like they got to get them in seats first. So
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that worked so well for Black Adam.
I mean,
when they basically told everybody, "Hey, Superman's cameo." Granted, they didn't say he was in the movie. They're like, "Hey, he might show up at the end." Wink, wink, nod, nod. Well, he's basically there.
You can imagine if they didn't.
The problem is that it must suck working for them, or they're assholes or something. Because again, they're just leaking this footage out there too.
It's terrible.
How's this
terrible?
It's like,
why?
It's one thing for toy leaks, okay? Because there are toy leaks of things that, like, I think in BVS or it was the Justice League movie, there was a toy leak that there was a Lex Luthor in his full-on armor suit. There was a toy and a toy set, and everyone was like, oh, Lex Luthor's going to suit up? Never suited up. Not in either version was that a thing. So there's still at least sometimes with toys are like, well, maybe they just made it just cuz.
Yeah.
WB's like, nah, we'll just tell them anyway. But even David S. Sandberg even tweeted out yesterday saying, if you want to go into the movie fresh, maybe don't be online or watch TV with ads. So I don't think David S. Sandberg's very happy about this TV spot either.
I mean, he's got a point, though. Jesus Christ anymore. It's like,
you can't be surprised.
You don't get to be surprised unless you turn yourself off
and
from
the thing
television or social media ads.
It's got to kind of suck for him because, I mean, he got...
Well, they put a lot of hard work into making this shit.
Well, he's even kind of like teased this, too. Like, this was something he was kind of teasing people to go see the movie because, you know, people obviously bashed the first one for the headless Superman cameo.
Right.
And he kind of already came out and hinted and teased, like, hey, like, we're not going to do you dirty like that this time, so maybe look out for something. So it was like he kind of hinted that at least somebody was going to show up that we would pop for, and it's like it kind of got spoiled once again by WB.
Once again.
Not even WB, because usually this is like a marketing company or a trailer making company, but still, like, somebody from WB had to at least approve it before it went out.
Well, you had to go through so many channels. You know?
Like,
I mean, so many channels. So many people had to have viewed that spot and said, that's great. What do you?
Oh,
The
that's
thing
funny.
is that individual for Warner Brothers probably didn't actually watch.
Yeah, because I think her
Or
line.
that's what happened. Like
I could see it too,
Okay.
because they're sitting it down, and it's like, because her line in the trailers, her walk away, and like, stick to saving the world, kid. Oh, that's funny, because Billy has a crush. Yeah, put it in. Green light it.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, it's cool.
I mean,
3 months, the whole universe gets reset.
I don't care so much because, I mean, whatever. It's just like, all right, yeah, confirm the plot leak. I know everything happens in this movie. So let's
That's
go.
your other problem, too.
But I feel bad for, like, everybody else. Like, it's just, that doesn't want this crap. Like a TV ad, like a TV spot of all things. Like, it's bad enough you gotta avoid Twitter and, like, you know, block certain things if you want to, like, avoid spoilers, but just to be sitting home watching TV, you know, and just watching the game, you know, watching show with the family, and just all of a sudden you gotta yell out, "Son of a bitch!"
Right.
Way to go.
But yeah, that's all I got for DC this week. So let's move on over to from this Marvel family to the other one.
To the real Marvel family. We took the name, it's ours.
Oh, fam.
Marvel. I say as I have a Batman Packers hoodie.
It's a sweet hoodie.
It's pretty sick.
Sweet bat shit colors, but yeah.
Your team for trading the whole goddamn house.
Oh my god! To the
For-
Bears of everybody. The Bears.
For
That Penelope, or wait, what's her fucking name?
Hey.
Leslie Nope gift that I sent
CJ
in
Stroud is going to be
thing.
a great wide receiver for you guys.
Yeah.
Well, shit, I heard
I
that.
feel like we're gonna go for Richardson.
I guess the verdict's still out on OSU QBs
Dude.
always being like wide receivers in the
if-
NFL just because of Fields.
if- AR-15 is a first-round pick overall, I will harikari myself. I swear to God, that is f***ing ridiculous. He was a shitbag disaster at Florida.
I say his stats did not
Calm
look.
down.
His
It's
stats
not going to be
shitbag.
either of our. Maybe it's not going to be either of our stupid ass teams that take him. It's
No,
fine.
dude,
I get it.
Did you know before all this hype, Minnesota was rumored to be like the favorite to take him? So I take this shit personally. it's dude.
Well, everyone wants to mimic what
Jalen Hurts.
Green Bay kind of did, I think, with the whole, like, yeah, we got a vet, then let's draft a guy that needs a little development, who's very talented, but needs a little development, so he can sit a couple years. That way, when the old guy's ready, hashtag trade A-Raj12, the new
Jets,
guy,
here I come.
the new guy can step in, because, I mean, you know, now, granted, he played until he's 45 years old, but at one time, like, we all thought, like, oh, New England's going to do the same thing that happened with Green Bay with Garoppolo. But anyways, yeah, it wasn't that great at Florida, but I don't know.
Great athlete. I'm sure he could play.
I just
in many
had to bring it
positions,
up
but
because
not in the fucking first round, first overall.
I just had to bring it up mainly because, like, to me, Carolina being the team to pull the trigger on that to get that pick.
What's interesting
I
though
just feel like that
is
was-
I kind of forgot that it's not like the NBA. They can still trade back out of that pick, and I guess they're like open to trading back out of the first pick.
Carolina?
Yeah, which I thought was interesting because I was thinking NBA rules to where if you do that, you can't within like a certain,
Why
especially
would
if it's
you-
like that close to the draft.
Why would they? That's so.
Unless
Are
Because
they
they could
thinking-
trade back maybe a couple 2-3 spots and reoccur some of them draft picks back.
Well, because there's a couple of teams
Okay.
that do need it badly. That they may give up more than they lost to get that back. A couple
Big
spots.
rumor apparently was the Panthers tried to offer a 2025 first, and Ryan Poles just was like,
Nah, give us
"No, fuck you. I want DJ Moore." Not like that. And I probably shouldn't have said that. I want to badmouth a certain thing bad. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I can't. I'm trying to watch that, but you know.
Yeah. Apparently he just said, no, I want DJ Moore, and he wouldn't budge, and then eventually the Panthers just did. So, yeah. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. Not very happy about it. I feel like we basically were like, here, Bears, let's solve your problem so that we can absorb your problem. So we can get a rookie quarterback in so he has nobody.
I mean, you got the second richest owner in the league, so whatever. That's kind
of, we can go get Adam Thielen, I guess.
When I saw that, true, you
That's
could.
true. He would probably he's still got gas in the tank. It's just obviously not what he was.
And the problem is that he wants the money.
I didn't. Well, I thought that he was willing to work because obviously he kind of knows where he is in his career as a receiver.
So the report kind of came out that they wanted the restructure and he just wasn't really wanting to play ball on that. He was like, "No, I want my money."
They needed to make really big time cuts. That's obviously why they've gotten rid of Cam Dantzler. They've gotten rid of. Obviously, Adam. They got rid of Eric Kendricks.
Well, and what's really weird is, they denied the request of Zadarius Smith to be released,
which is weird because he already sold his house. Like he sold his house when the season ended in Minnesota.
So maybe he thought they were just going to do it anyway.
Like I think there had to have been some indication by ownership that they had no plans to move forward with him, and now they're changed our mind.
Changed our mind. We're going to keep you. Just wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't even want him if he wants to leave. What the fuck? I mean,
good for you guys.
I mean, it is what it is. Well, we'll see how this goes because I mean, obviously with Flores on the defense, I never thought that he'd get rid of Cam Dantzler of all people on our defense. He was. I mean, obviously, he has his coverage issues, but he was young.
All right,
man can tackle an open field, can make plays, hits hard. Seems like it's a Flores type of player, but nope, hit the road.
Crazy times.
Oh, yeah.
Just waiting on April.
Yeah.
All right, Marvel news. Back to it. Basically, I don't got a lot, which is why I kind of went into a sports little segment there for us. But not a ton that came out this week, but there has been a lot coming out about Daredevil Born Again. So, a couple things here. The show is going to reintroduce a lot of the Netflix characters, is the rumor, and then it's basically been confirmed at this point that Bernthal is coming back as the Punisher.
Which is awesome.
So that's the big good news. But the bad news to me is that Deborah Ann Wool and Eldon Henson, so basically Foggy, and then, is it Karen is her name, I think?
Rip.
Yeah, they're not going to be returning for Born Again. So, and people aren't sure if that means it's just they're going to be recast, or if the characters just aren't going to be in the show at all.
That's what I would think. That would be logical.
Well, so then yesterday though, and that was coming out of Hollywood Reporter for those two not returning. Now another thing though that has come out recently is that Vanessa Fisk has been recast for the show. So that makes me think that they might recast these other two. It might just be that the actors... I mean, because it's been some time.
Yeah.
Probably got different stuff they want to work on, so...
And to what extent will they be, utilized anyway? That's really...
That's kind of true. So this will be a pretty interesting show. The article that I was reading about Bernthal coming back said that the show's going to be 18 episodes.
Ooh.
But with how Disney is, they like to do these whole 6 or 8 episode seasons. So I don't know, does that mean total, or are they going to actually have 18 episodes and it's just one giant season?
It seems like they like to take not Disney necessarily, but a lot of times they take mid-season breaks like they used to. That would be a little bit of a, because that 18 episodes is a lot.
That's a lot for their live action stuff because we've seen it with Kenobi and She-Hulk and all these others that they never really break 8. Yeah. Or 10.
Right.
WandaVision might have been 10. I can't remember. I'd have to go look.
I think so.
But a lot of these live action series that they've been creating at Disney have not been that many episodes. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well to read. I read that off the direct. Not sure where they were really getting it from. And then, of course, one thing that we brought up before starting is that the big rumor... I think this is more of a fan casting, is that they're looking at maybe possibly getting Jenna Ortega into the show. She's rumored to be in the show, and fans are casting her as the White Tiger.
Hey, like we were talking about. I mean, anything she's in.
Well, and
this
again,
is why DC needs to get her.
Well, like I said, is like she's kind of like the new Hollywood it girl. That like she's popping up in a lot of these things that are coming out. So she's been very busy as an actress to film all this stuff,
and for the right reasons. You know, like her performance. You know, not like her being super hot or her being this or that or the other. Like it's like for her performance that she's getting this.
Yeah, she fits a certain demographic that is pretty unique, I think.
Yeah, and if she can bring the same role, like owning the role that she did with Wednesday.
I'm kind of but the thing is, like with Wednesday, and then she's in the Scream. She's been in the last 2 Scream movies, and now she's going to be in this Beetlejuice. She should get into either Marvel or DC for not being typecast.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm starting to get, is that she's being typecast.
Yeah.
And the gloomy characters and stuff,
So...
Hey, she can come over to the Justice League Dark Universe anytime she wants. Come
that's
over,
honestly
John.
what I was thinking, low-key. I was
come
like,
on, John.
Dark, DC, dark.
Come on.
Honestly,
Little Zatanna?
I was going to say, she could just be Zatanna. She really could just be Zatanna.
Hell yeah.
That'd be...
James Gunn. Call her.
Yeah, shit.
And get Guillermo del Toro back.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Do it. Do it if you bad.
Do it if you bad.
All right, sorry, this is Marvel.
It's fine. I don't got much else. Apparently, in that Phase Zero podcast that Jeff Loveness had, he did say, and why this is coming out now, and it didn't last week when he had that, and they were reporting on all the other shit that they had, but apparently when he spoke on there, he was stating that the X-Men for the MCU are still pretty far away. He could also just be saying that. Who knows?
Is he finally not? Finally not leaking stuff.
Yeah. Well, and maybe just all the X-Men are far away, but like maybe not just like specifically Wolverine and Professor X, just because those are the 2 big fan household names. Like,
I'm gonna be really intrigued how they're gonna do X-Men in this universe.
Yeah,
I mean, people are trying to rumor right now too that in the Kang Dynasty or something that the well, I guess that was more for the Iron Man, the Illuminati universe that Doctor Strange visited and then Wanda killed them all. They're rumoring that the Iron Man from that universe is survived, and like a Stark variant will show up in Kang Dynasty because of that. Or something. But
I just mean on like a fundamental level when they introduce the X-Men. Like, what's the main thing that is overarching all the X-Men? Is that humanity hates them.
Yeah.
So how does that work when they're praising the Avengers, but then we have the X-Men that we're going to shit on? That's what I'm nervous about and how they're going to do. And this is why I kind of in my head, whenever I read Marvel Comics, except for crossover events, which I still just was like, whatever, it's an event. I always kind of kept the X-Men and like the Avengers universe like separate because it made no sense to me in my head why they both coexisted at the same time.
It would be an interesting,
and that's why I'm kind of nervous for them to show up in the MCU because I'm like, it's not going to make any sense.
Well, it could be interesting.
I bet though they want to get to the point though where they do the whole line of Avengers versus X-Men because there is times where they.
I know that, but it's not going to make any sense to me how if it's the reason because humanity hates the mutants.
I could see it.
But how are you going to praise the X-Men then?
I could see it where
that it would be an interesting dynamic in a movie though to have like.
I feel like I'm seeing the Civil War meme pop up right now.
Like 2 people working side by side, one that's hated and one that's loved, and they work together. And so now, like, obviously in the world we live in today, that's important to have like a message, an overall message, like the people, like the mutant freaks that everybody hates, and then you have these superheroes. What's the difference?
I mean, is the difference just the fact that mutants are evolution of Homo sapiens? So they're like, we don't want to go, we don't want to be cooler.
And I think,
I think that's what they're gonna.
That's what I always.
That is what they're going to get at because as in Black Panther. Namor kind of calls himself a mutant of his people, which he is. And then in the Ms. Marvel show, they use the word mutant. And as much as Feige and the heads of MCU, Disney, whatever, want to try to play around that and say, like, oh, well, we're using that word very loosely. I don't believe you are. I believe that you're gonna develop this overall plot line in the 616 universe where a mutant genetic just kind of blows up around the world, and then mutants are just going to be kind of fresh in the MCU.
Case in point, Miss Marvel.
Okay.
It's a mutation. And they play the X-Men theme.
Yeah, so again, I think in the... I think,
like, come on, don't tell me it's not like...
Yeah, I think in the,
oh, you noticed that?
How did that get in there?
I think the 616 universe is just going to have an event where it's... Or not an event, but it's like going to slowly blow up the whole mutant genetic somehow in some way. There's a heavy rumor, I believe, for... It's either for Captain America 4 or for Thunderbolts, where they're going to go to the island, or they're going to go to the hand of Tiamat from Eternals, and it's like made into an island where all the mutants are supposed to be going for like a safe haven. Like, that's the big rumor. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. And speaking of Eternals, when interviewing with The Hollywood Reporter, the director of the first movie, TLOU Zhao, they were asking her about directing Eternals 2, and she just bluntly said, no comment. That was it.
Huh.
Where before, she was kind of saying, like, oh, we'll see. It's something that's being discussed, we'll see. And now that she's been being asked more, she just says, no comment.
That means the...
So...
snowballs are beginning to roll.
Yeah. Snowballs are beginning to roll.
Just hope it rolls better this time.
Hopefully.
I just hope it rolls better.
Well, with maybe having Star Fox in it, hopefully that's not just like a cameo for
I think
Cloud.
they kind of said. Are you talking about the Harry Styles?
Harry Styles Star
I'm pretty
Fox,
sure.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they said
Eros.
that he was intended to be like more than a cameo going forward.
Well, I'd hope so. Eros
Yeah.
is a pretty important character.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think you have to worry about that. I think he'll still be around.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's Harry Styles that you got to worry about, but other than that, you know, character.
Yeah.
I said what I said.
I said what I said.
All right, last thing I got. Old Bob Iger is just basically said recently that the Avengers team going forward is going to be all completely new. So...
Hashtag new Avengers.
I don't exactly... I imagine he just means all the younger generations that are playing the legacy characters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be. We almost dropped the forsaken word.
Better watch out.
What was the point of Phase 4 then if we weren't getting this? So, like, we were getting introduced to all the next generation of heroes. Like, it just makes sense.
Filler, just like an anime. I don't know. Filler. You didn't need to
Kevin
watch it.
Feige's
It was
like,
just,
you know what? We're going to Naruto this bitch.
It was just supposed to be interesting.
We're going to Naruto
Watch it.
the fudge out of it.
Fudge it. Fudge out of it.
Maybe that says more about us as we sit here and catch ourselves. Like, yeah.
Fudge yourself. Fudge out.
I mean, I always label our videos not for kids, all right? So
Yeah, I mean, I do mark the explicit thing, whatever that's worth, which I don't know if it is, but...
We still show up in kids' recommended videos. Can confirm.
Oh, yeah. Is he on an adult
That's
profile, though?
yeah, that's not target audience, so that's not good.
I know. No, that's what I'm saying. It's weird.
I wonder if he's actually on a kid's account, though.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, they probably didn't set that up right.
Yeah. I mean...
Anyway.
Yeah, you know.
Anyway.
We're a great influence for your
That's
children.
really all I got for a little Marvel news. Let's go on to our
Pew,
bull
pew.
here and
Star
talk
Weezy.
about some Star Wheezy.
Star Weezy.
Star Whizzle.
Star Whizzle.
Star Wussy.
Star Wussy. Star Wussy. Oh, man. Well, Star Wars news-wise, big thing I saw was Katie Sackhoff's interview on Entertainment. Obviously talking about the role talking about obviously where Bo-Katan is mentally and where she thinks the character is, all the regular stuff. But there was one thing that she said in that interview that kind of...
Is this where she was on television and she was talking about how she just talks to the puppet?
Oh, well, no, what she calls it, Baby Grogu.
Yes.
Yes. The one thing in that interview towards the end of it, she talked about how Filoni told the characters in the last scene of Mandalorian Season 2 that the Jedi that was coming to save Grogu was Plo Koon.
Right.
So you're telling me...
Which is funny, because then if, like, them as the actors and actresses, it's like, oh, you don't even watch anything in the universe of your own shit, because you would have known immediately that made no sense.
Well, I don't know if that's exactly what he meant by that.
Alright, so continue.
So please understand this, that Plo Koon, where he was, and this is obviously the rumor, this is just conjecture, this is...
Ship that explodes.
A ship that explodes over a large body of water.
Oh, get the fuck... It literally has a scene, it cuts to him, the fire engulfing him. Yeah, he dies.
And the ship rolls forward. I don't know if that's true or not.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know.
Mace Windu's still alive? Dude. Plo Koon's out there? Oh my god. We're getting the band back together, guys.
The Mace Windu...
Ahsoka's not alone.
The Mace Windu one, I can confirm that he could be alive.
Oh my fucking god.
If the fucking Emperor can... I'm sorry. If the Emperor can get thrown down a reactor shaft and somehow just...
Dude, he uses the Force to carry his essence into a clone body. It's not hard.
Oh my god, then what did...
Way more believable than a guy getting thrown out of a window that is electrocuted.
Dude, how many times...
I know, they jump and leap and they use the Force to kind of carry themselves to do these crazy acrobatics. I just kind of doubt it happened.
I doubt it happened too. I doubt that'll ever come to fruition, but all I'm saying is it is a possibility in the Star Wars universe, because no one ever really died.
Somehow Palpatine has returned. Huh? Somehow Palpatine has returned.
Yeah. The dead speak. The dead speak.
Oh my god.
But that in itself... well, it's
Dude, okay. That exact quote, what you're saying, I remember sitting there in the theater and thinking, like, okay, this will be kind of interesting, and then that opening credit crawl, I just go, oh, this is going to be shit.
I was like... as soon as that came up, I was like, oh. And it was funny, I took it so personally that, like, these two kids in front of me, like, started busting out laughing. I go, shut the fuck up! Sorry.
Sorry, I'm just a triggered fan.
Yes, very.
I expected a lot more out of this trilogy, and now they're just trying to save it,
and dude, come on, it's like, could you try any harder to make it seem like a completely different storyline? Like all of the opening roll credits are always so well done and put together and concise.
The dead speak.
Said
I just read that and I was like, oh, this will be real good.
Cheeks. Yeah, it's
cheeks.
It's bad. But anyway, but also I thought that was kind of interesting, just because even him hinting at the opportunity for a Plo Koon appearance, because he was an absolute monster. I mean, and they never expanded upon it in canon universe. He was a freak of nature as far as using the Force and his ability to, self-preserve and stuff like that. So, I don't know. It's a possibility, and the fact that he even said it makes me happy.
Force bubble.
I mean, pretty much, dude. Dude, there is a scene, not scene, I guess, kind of a scene in the
Titan bubble, dude.
In the High Republic books where
Stop talking.
So there's Jedi all over these different planets in the star in this planet system where they all connect each other, through the Force together, and they're all like surrounded with this white Force power, and they are redirecting debris from a ship coming out of hyperspace that's full of like these canisters of explosive material, and if it flies into the sun will engulf it all and engulf the entire planetary system. And they all use their minds in the Force, and they're surrounded by this white energy of the Force, and they use it all to pull the stuff out of the way so it doesn't hit the sun. And that is canon. So I don't think anything's out of the question, but
KP hates this idea.
Yeah, that's out of the question to me. I hate this.
KP is the mean. Nope, don't like that.
Don't like that. No, it gets way worse than that. Even the old Jedi ships didn't have guns on them. They had to use the Force as their weapon inside their ships.
I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah.
One point.
All right.
What do you guys want first? You want the Bad Batch, or you want that Mando action?
Well,
Or if you have news.
there is news. Kevin Feige and Patty Jenkins movies are donezo. They shelved them. They're out. According to Variety. Variety, Jay.
Wow, they're late to the
We love
party. I think
Variety.
did that just now break for them?
Well, it was like, what, a day or two ago?
Okay, I was about to say it broke.
Oh, March 7th.
I'd say it broke earlier this week.
Yeah, it was earlier this week. So, yeah, earlier this week they basically reported that, their movies are shelved, done, but apparently train's going right along for old Taquilla's planned movies, whatever.
He must be doing something that they really like, because
I saw he's supposed to star in it too, right?
Oh, he stars in everything of his own, I think, so.
it's weird. But they must be, because they were talking about his stuff getting pushed way back, and then it gets brought forward, and then it gets pushed way back, and it hasn't. Then they say it's not a priority. I think a couple months ago, and then
The Variety article just says that Rogue Squadron supposed to be 2023 release in December.
Yep.
They pulled it, and now the sources with knowledge on the production are just saying that it's not in active development.
I'm not
Same
surprised.
with Feige's. And I would assume that the reason that Taquilla's is fine is mainly because look how goofy he made his Thor movies, and Star Wars is Star Wars. It does get dark, but the majority of it is still supposed to, again, just like with Shazam, kind of encompass a family-friendly, fun feeling. So I am not surprised that he gets to keep his. I am kind of shocked that Feige's is apparently just done, because I would assume, because all of the success that he had being the power that be that oversaw of Marvel, I would kind of expect him to get his shot with Star Wars.
Yeah, the thing is they have to tread so carefully, whoever it is, because Favreau came out and said, I believe it was Favreau or somebody up high, they said that they're slowing down all the movies because, obviously, of how bad Solo flopped, because of the feel of that movie, that now they have to really zone in and take their time on each production to make sure that it's up to a Star Wars standard, which I like, but they have to tread so carefully, because if you make Star Wars goofy, then the fans are gonna turn on you. They're gonna turn on you so quick. There has to be an element of serious. It's a space opera. Call it what it is, and people don't want goofy bullcrap thrown about the screen.
And this article kind of goes on to say, too, for Rian Johnson's, that apparently, like, Lucasfilms, whatever.
Rihan.
You know why I don't care?
It's also
because his Star Wars
Taika
movie
Waititi's
fucking
name
sucks.
Are you mispronouncing people's names on purpose,
Yeah, and I
Kevin?
just said that that forbidden word because that's how much I. Anyways, that dude, thankfully is tied up for his Mr. Blanc movies at Netflix and that Poker Face series that he does, which apparently is like really good for Peacock, so I need to check that out.
Really?
Yeah, I got very good reviews apparently. So he's going to be busy, so thankfully he's not making any more Star Wars titles, hopefully soon.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, thank God. Seriously, thank God. I really hope we actually speak for everyone on that note, but that was just the other Star Wars news that I figured you were going to have. Didn't mean to steal any thunder, but just kind of thought, like, that was kind of some big stuff for them.
Down and out all week, so I'm not surprised. I'm surprised I even had what I had. But,
so did you have any Star Wars news, Jay?
No.
Negative.
No.
All right, well...
You can tell who the Star Wars nerds are out of this...
I mean, I saw that news earlier this week.
Yeah. He's coming along.
You saw who the big super nerds are out of this triad, so...
Yeah, I mean, some things more than others, you know.
All right, reviews?
Reviews.
All right.
Let's do the batch.
Okay, let's do the batch. That's good. I'm good with that.
Do the batch, then we can go Mando into Last of Us and that.
I liked it.
Oh, loved it.
Crosshair episode.
Yeah, this was a great,
I really liked
this was
it.
a great
Dude,
episode.
this is
His
what
episodes,
we've been wanting.
His episodes have been really good.
Oh,
Yep.
dude, this is the storyline that they should have been touching on and building throughout all those episodes that were pointless.
Just kind of developing him.
See now,
Yes.
I don't think they're pointless.
Really?
I don't think they're pointless.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think Tech's going to sacrifice himself for Crosshair. And I think this whole season has been about us getting to know Tech more, so that when that happens, it's that much more of a gut punch.
wrench.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And I think Crosshair will finally come back to the boys.
You know
He
what?
probably will, because
Yeah.
he realizes how, like, the Empire's just, like, they're just using people.
Mm-hmm.
When it's so cool, too, to see, like, the humanity starting to return to him, you know, because, like, I mean, even in that scene where, like, he triggers that mine, and then Mayday has to, you know, tap down with those stakes to make sure that the pressure plate doesn't come back up.
Yep.
I'm like, you could see that he's like he's actually doing something for me, and pretty much a dick to everybody.
It's also him showing trust in somebody, and of course, it's a fellow clone.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
and that connection.
I like how Mayday didn't trust his own work and had to go run behind the corner.
Yeah, true.
He's like, I know it's gonna work. He's like, but
Just in case.
just in case. When I was watching it, I kind of took it as like, oh, this Mayday guy's like crooked. He's trying to kill this you know. And,
Yeah.
Like, and I was thinking that, like, maybe this is all just a setup because the clones are pissed at the Empire, but no, that wasn't it, obviously. But
Yeah,
just a nice growth episode.
it really was, and dude, that's like, it feels like I got the feeling from this episode that I got from most of the episodes in the first season. You know what I mean? Like that fulfillment of like a total episode where you see, you know, something start, something develop, and something finish that has something to do with the main storyline.
This is like one of this is probably up there as like one of my favorite. I won't say it's my favorite yet, because there might be a couple or the but it's up there.
Yeah.
Like, I've been waiting for this turn this whole series. So I've been waiting for this episode that finally happened.
Dude, yeah.
I figured something was gonna happen.
When
yeah.
Mayday died and he was just like, he served his purpose, whatever, and you saw like the predator or whatever like fly overhead, I was like,
Yeah, dude.
and we're back.
You kind of knew it was coming, but just to see him do it, it's like, all right.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like I remember, and dude, that was even such a cool feeling. Because like for the first time watching this animated show, I'm like you like get up in your seat, like you're like, do it.
Because they did a good job building it this whole episode. Like you said, you see it coming, but that's because they did a good job building and building and building. And it's like, are they finally going to break Crosshair down to where he's going to actually see? And he did.
Dude, if you're right about those
boy is
episodes,
back.
I am gonna put my foot in my
That's
mouth
so-
firmly.
When I'm thinking about it, it's like in the beginning we thought it's like, oh, they're just trying to differentiate Tech and Echo, try to make sure they feel different.
Right.
Well, then Echo goes away, and it's like, and we're still kind of doing this, and it's like mainly him connecting with Omega.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, what is this all for? And then this episode happened, and then especially with him ended up being captured, I'm like, oh. I was like, maybe that's why we're getting to know Tech so well this season.
I will insert foot in mouth over all the stuff when we were talking about those episodes.
And especially
that's
since
what the
he's
point is.
Mr. No Emotion and very calculated, it would be him almost making a choice out of like love and emotion.
Yeah.
So that would
was
be like kind of like a
before.
good like ending for his arc.
We don't have much
I could
left
be
on
wrong.
it either.
That's my theory.
For every time something good happens, something horrible happens in these movies. So if Crosshair comes back, something bad equally has to happen.
Yeah.
Such
It's like
as
4 episodes left, so 3 weeks, because the last one's going to be a 2-parter.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we're doing that this season.
I never realized how much I say F, man.
I know.
Until today.
Yep. Well, when I read that little...
Thanks, dude.
When I read that came out, I sat there and thought about it, and I was like, yeah, I say it a lot.
A lot.
Say it a lot.
Even when I'm not even trying to, man. Like, it just...
Yeah.
It's unnecessary.
That's my issue, too, and... I mean, I try. It's not that I just don't care. I mean...
I know, like, every time I say it, I'm like,
yeah.
Dang it.
But no, I'd probably call this one probably a solid 9 for me.
I'd say I think I'm at a 9 as well.
That's I was thinking 9 or 8.7, but just because I want to leave, like, I want to do the classic, the Obi-Wan ratings. I want to leave a little bit of room for hotness at the very end.
All right, same.
I got to leave a little bit of room, but yeah, 9 for sure.
For me, I was going between an 8.5 and a 9, but for me, since it's like the episode I've been kind of waiting for, I was like, yeah, I gotta give it a 9. It delivered on what I wanted. It was hot the whole way through. So.
It brought me back, dude. It brought me so back because this is this is the first one. Well, last week I watched all the way through without checking my phone and scrolling.
So last week's was good.
This one was great.
Yeah.
This one was great. It was outstanding. This brought me back. Thank God. And then on a night where we get the next thing we're going to talk about, man, this was a great night.
It was a good
f***ing night. Star Wars, boys. Wednesday night Star Wars is back, and it's beautiful. And I love it. And so 9s across the board for Batch.
I would say so.
That's
might be the same for this. Who knows?
And it might be. We got Mando next. Wow. So we're back to Mandalore.
Yes!
We're finally back on Mandalore.
And we're back.
He's flying down.
Those times that we've had, all the time we've had since we saw it last in Clone Wars and Rebels, what does it look like? What's happened there? Oh, it's poisoned. It's cursed. Nope.
Will say, though, I did like... So, she said it was poisoned and cursed.
Yes.
Or that was the rumors.
The armorer said it was cursed.
The armorer said it was cursed.
Because of Bo-Katan.
Because of Bo-Katan. Because Bo-Katan was trying to say the air's poisonous. Which, again, like I iterated to earlier this week, that with Star Wars and mining and stuff, yeah, they let out gases. So it could have been at one point.
Right.
Armorer said it was cursed.
Because of Bo-Katan and how she did and her actions with the sword.
Right. Third thing. Boba Fett just said that planet's been turned to glass. And if you kind of closely are looking at the scenery, it is like it got molded to glass. It's like a lot of the dirt and
it's got like a kryptonite look to it.
Yes,
it's like
because
I love the design of the planet
because they bombed it so much that the temperatures literally turned the shit into glass. So like, I just thought that payoff, that to me that was like an Easter egg thing because Boba Fett said that like back in season 2 of Mandalorian.
So the only truth you get is from Boba
Fett, who doesn't like Mandalorians because they don't accept him.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
that's true.
Yeah. I just thought that was really cool. So he lands, gets out.
Yeah.
Well, first he goes to that planet to visit the chick to get the droid.
The mechanic.
Which I'm not going to lie, when he first got there, I was like...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I was like, why are we here
By
again?
the way... Can I just let you guys know that little droidy that he gets?
He's in episode 4.
He's in episode 4.
It's the same R5
the one with
unit.
the bad motivator.
Yeah. It's the same R5 unit, they said.
Drink for our hero.
I love how she's like, she's got a nice... You know, that mechanical on Tatooine, she got a nice little business there, hiring the Jawas to go pick parts, and then, like, they bring it to her and just fix it, like, all right, put the shit all back now. Yeah. Back the way you found it.
Ain't much going on there.
Like,
the dumpster.
I was like, what a shady-ass business here.
Yeah.
Like...
Oh, dude, and then, fucking Grogu... jumps out from
immediately in the first opening when he does that flip, I about send the message to you guys just like LOL, okay Yoda.
Yeah.
like you know, I was just
Well, those 2 years, man. He spent 2 years with Luke. Man.
Learns how to do force flips.
Oh, dude, shit. Remember when he was flipping around those rocks in Book of Boba Fett and then grabs the thing, crush it? He does the Skywalker crush. I mean,
with his 3 fingers.
I'm tired of running from you. Also, I'll just crush. But no, dude, it's so exciting. So we get R5, which is a chicken shit droid.
Dude, quivering in his little rollers, dude.
He's like, what's he say? He's like, I'm not asking you. Get out there and stand. He's like something like that. I was like, oh, yeah.
I love that.
I was like,
it's so funny because he used to hate droids.
Yeah. And now he's got to work with, he has to work with them.
Yep. And now he actually has trust in them and he encourages them to, and, it's pretty, that's cool development, side development, but. Oh, so then he goes down. He tests the air.
Yeah, I like how, though, he's using a breathing apparatus in his suit, like technology, when he first gets out. And like, you just keep hearing that every couple seconds, and I'm like, oh, come on, you could have made it sound like something else we all know.
Oh, I know. Oh, dude, that would have been hot. He just gets out there. But
because they did that with Saul in Rogue One when he's like using the mask. It sounds a little like Vader's.
Yeah, that's right. It's true.
It's like you kind of think like, oh, it's all the same medical technology that they have across the universe. But anyways,
that's true. Test the air, breathable. So he's obviously looks around, says, "It's not poison."
But wait, Planet of the Apes. Sorry, wait, what are they called?
I had it up there. Alamites.
Alamites.
So he's walking, obviously he goes down into the old ruins of the city, the capital, I think, from what I can see.
It is the capital.
And goes below, throughout all the ruins and gets jumped by... and he still can't use the fucking Darksaber.
No.
Slinging that thing around.
I was gonna say. So the Alamites attack him at the top before when they're looking out over the city of Sundari.
I believe so.
I think
so. When he's looking out over Sundari, gets jumped by him, and I notice, he pulls the Darksaber out, but he's still like he can barely lift it.
Yeah, he can't yield it for nothing. I mean, he throws it at him, and it's going to cut right through whatever it touches.
Oh, right. But he can barely use it for shit. Yeah.
I'm just surprised he didn't cut himself this time.
I did like the stab and throw him off the cliff.
Yeah. And obviously the Alamites were like Bo-Katan says later. But,
she says it later, yeah.
But she does explain that they were kind of the savages from outside of the capital walls and the wasteland beyond the capital before, everything was turned to glass. So obviously this shows that they've been there since.
It's cool to see that they've adapted and have chipped away at the glass to make weapons out of it and stuff. I thought that was a cool little detail. That they've come they've adapted to this new environment,
and that plays into the part too that they've been there that long.
Yeah.
So it couldn't have been poisoned. It couldn't have been cursed.
Oh yeah.
They've been there. They've been thriving there. So
and so he jumps down and then he discovers a Mandalorian helmet and he's brushing it off and you think okay, what is this really for? And then all of a sudden you just spider.
Grievous spider.
You notice kind of right away. It's like, there's an eye up there in this big giant ass thing, and then it takes him away, and Grogu's like, no, Dad, no.
Yeah.
No. Tells him get the hell out of there, go find Bo-Katan. And
dude, that was the creepiest droid in Star Wars ever.
They need to kind of... Maybe not. Maybe the appeal to Grogu is that he is a literal puppet.
Yeah.
But when they pan back so far and they show him actually walking, it's like you can see the string pull his cape underneath. I'm like, you couldn't have pulled that frame up just a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's a couple spots in this episode I see. I'm like, it, it's a puppet and we love it because it's Star Wars.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Hashtag Yoda is a goat.
Yeah.
I can just
he gets kidnapped by that little
that
cyborg, the cyborg thing with the eye, and
it's built just like Grievous.
literally just like Grievous, and part of me was like wondering, like, is this a Grievous thing?
It must be, because here's the thing. Look at the armor.
I wondered if it just... I was kind of sitting there wondering, okay, is this supposed to be Grievous?
No, dude, here's
like, did they just dump him? But it's not.
Here's my kind of theory about what that really was. I think, because so Grievous, how he became Grievous, he was a tribal chieftain, and he wanted to improve his battle capability and prowess. So he started replacing himself with droid parts, which we see in Book of Boba Fett is a normal thing for people to do, whether it be an eye or an arm or whatever. I think that he was doing it, obviously, Grievous did that to the point to where we saw him how he was, because he was actually, the only parts of him that were left were his lungs, his heart,
and his head.
So, and not much of it, and his central nervous system's always all there. But, but in this case, we see a real eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just an eye.
Just an eye, and the thing was that when it pans
Spider
in,
eye.
It closes so naturally, and it looks what it looks like. And I don't know if you played Battleground or what is that?
Battlefront.
Battlefront, yes, the second one. Did you play the story mode on that?
Mm-mm.
So there's a scene in Operation Cinder, which is obviously like the beginning of the First Order, is when Palpatine's already dead. But he has a kind of like it looks like one of the Imperial Guard, the red, but it's a screened face, and it's blue, but it looks very similar to the same type of eye camera. It looks like a camera, but it's a real eye.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like in his face, of Palpatine's face. So I don't know if this was a controlled unit from somewhere else on Mandalore.
could have been.
Or if it was a previous Mandalorian that was still left behind from the Purge that's turned himself into that out of necessity.
Yeah.
That's just my theories, though.
Yeah.
We may never ever find out the answer to that question, but,
Yeah, but he has him in a cage and puts him over like he's going to roast him like a pig. But then he...
Which is
that his blood he was drawing? It looked yellow.
It was his blood. No, it looked red to me.
Did it?
The tubing, I think, was yellow, but it was red.
But even the vial that he was sucking it into, like the liquid looked yellow. I was like, is he just sucking his like plasma out? Like
I don't know. I thought it looked red, and I was taking it that he was sucking his blood out.
Maybe it's to augment his own existence. Probably
it could have been. That's probably what it was for. That's how I took all of that.
Yeah.
So Grogu, force flips into the cockpit, tells the droid, take us to this planet, and he goes and gets Bo-Katan.
Oh, yeah, because Mando.
She was like just moping. The world's over for her. Like, no one's around anymore. They don't trust her. They don't trust her leadership anymore.
We're going to get rid of this bitch once and for all.
Yeah.
She's like, let's get rid of him once and for all. She's like...
She's annoyed with him. She's done.
She's like, I'm trying to make it apparent to you to leave me alone. And then it's like the Grogu, and she's like, okay, what happened to your friend? And, and then her getting in her ship, and it's the ship from Clone Wars and all that.
Comric?
Something, I can't remember.
That ship is badass.
Yes. Yeah. I was very happy to see that. And then, she flies back, and she realized, like, oh, the air's not toxic, and we're good. And that's when we start getting the history lessons, and that was really cool because, like... diehards like Jeff and I that joke to these casuals, they're like, yeah, well, they don't know anything about this stuff. Like, well, you just got your history lesson from Bo-Katan in this episode.
I will say that's my only other really, nitpick about the episode.
Well,
I don't mind the history lesson. I don't like when the history lesson's being timed. Like, oh, Mando's being captured. Oh, let's stop here at a cliff and let me tell you a little story.
Well, I think the reason that there was no urgency is because Grogu doesn't talk, and... probably, I would say Grogu does not know how to, speak inside the mind with someone.
No.
Like, Ahsoka probably initiated that when Ahsoka met him.
Exactly. The pathway of the Force between those two is easy, whereas
of course they're taking their sweet time because Bo-Katan's not real sure of where Din is, what's happened. Like, she knows, he's in trouble, but it's like they're kind of tiptoeing through these caves because she knows, she shoots the alamite out of the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
And that's when we get the history lesson, and we learn, they were savages that, lived on the outside of our domed cities, out in the wastelands. She just even says, if they survived, I wonder what else has survived, too.
Yeah.
Did you think your daddy was the only Mandalore out there?
Yeah.
I like that.
She whoops their ass. I was like, yes.
Dude,
yes.
And dude, her, when she goes in with the Darksaber and just...
Dude.
Okay.
And just...
All right, so if we're jumping right there, yeah. So then she comes in.
I have to.
She comes in to fight the thing and then, realizes the Darksaber's on the ground.
And just
hot.
And just picks it up and uses it effortlessly.
And royalty of House Vizsla wields it with elegance.
Yeah.
And all of you got what a real Mandalorian looks like.
Big fucking facts. Sorry.
Yeah. Dude.
Just worth it. It's
oh my god. And even for the nostalgia purpose of the shield and the sword, cool. I was like, yes, I'm gonna run through my whole house.
Give me the shield. Give me the shield.
It's just, oh man, that was so sick.
It really was, dude. I mean, God, dude, just.
I know it was. Okay, so we obviously all had a beef with the IGN article giving this episode a 5 out of 10.
Dude.
And then when the first line says, it fills all the nostalgia. Yeah, it did, and I've been wanting to see it for, 10 years of my life, so I don't care.
Real quick,
so back off.
When you guys are watching this episode, because one of the IGN's gripes, which, by the way, IGN, you have fallen off.
Oh, they're terrible. Terrible.
Ever since Kinda Funny crew left you. Anyway, they complained that the episode was too dark, couldn't see anything. I never got that. I felt like I could see what I was meant to see.
And it's on a doomed planet. What do you want it to be?
And they're in these dark chasms. I'm do you want it to be lit up? What are they thinking?
Just gonna be a douchebag here and brag. I have a very expensive... I was going to say the price, but I'm not going to do that. But a very expensive Sony OLED TV, yeah, I don't got that problem because I'm with the times here in 2023. So it was not too dark for me, IGN. You're probably watching on your 1080p monitor still. You're so irrelevant that you can't afford good shit to actually view this stuff on.
Nah, bro, watched it on my phone. Watched it on my phone with the brightness turned down. I was on a plane, but I gotta rate this as it's shit.
No, this episode was awesome,
amazing,
and
the fight was just she. Him up, God, whoops. She messes him up, then he crawls over, gets in the big boy, and she's like, I still got this, and just chopping him up.
Decapitates him.
Oh my God, yes.
And that's Mandalorian culture. You fight until it's done. You're not fighting until somebody just says, I'm good.
Yeah, and hopefully all of you out there noticed how she knows how to wield that sword. That sword wasn't heavy for her. She was elegant, flowed, just looking exactly like someone who's supposed to fight a Jedi.
But also, she was taught by Ren, correct? To use it? Or no, was it Ren that lost it and Bo-Katan found it? Or
Sabine just gives it to her.
That's right. Sabine found it.
That's why there's the whole thing of the curse, because she didn't win it in combat. She just got handed to her,
and then
because Sabine shows up with it, and they're all like, "Oh, lead us," and she's like, "I'm a teenager. I cannot do this." Hi, Miss Bo-Katan Kryze. You know how to be a leader. Here you go. And she's like, "Yeah, sounds good." It's kind of how that goes in Rebels.
And so then she's
the whole Clone Wars era of must win in trial by combat.
Yeah,
that got thrown out the window when they stole it out of Darth Maul's cave. So I said all this earlier this week. So yeah.
So obviously we're at a situation now where
I don't really know who would have trained her. Maybe the
I know
I can't remember.
Jarrus trained Ren. Because Kane and Jarrus
trained Sabine.
He
basically kind of then to me, when that whole thing, the training on that to me kind of says that you got to be a little force sensitive to wield it.
100%.
Because he's like, because Kanan even said, he's like it's like with a lightsaber. He's like, we have to learn how to like use this as an extension of ourselves, not just as a I sling it and throw it around weapon.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be some like feeling.
So I think that we're leading up to that part with Bo-Katan. That's what I think.
Has to be.
We have to be. I think obviously this is going to be
because the armorer and then the big brute looking dude who looks I was gonna say his armor's blue, so I'm assuming he's from Vizsla as well.
He is. He's House.
Oh wait, they do say it in that chapter.
He says I'm House
they?
Vizsla. That's from my family, and
that's right.
Yeah, he said I'm going to take it back.
He wants to take it back, and
because is it Paz Vizsla that created? No, Paz Vizsla wasn't he like the head of the Vizsla family when that was created and they were in charge of that? I cannot recall.
I don't know. It's Paz is not the name of the Vizsla that was the Jedi though. But yeah, it's their house.
Yes,
but yeah.
I think he was under his lead that it was like constructed and so I can't.
What I would say though is that way back in the Clone Wars, when we get introduced to Death Watch, I would imagine is around when Bo-Katan would have learned how to use it because their leader had it at that point. Which I can't remember his name.
No, it was because he's the one that lost to
Maul. He's the one that loses to Maul.
Yeah. Dude, you know what I wanted in this episode?
Maul just kills him, too.
You know, in this episode, I wanted so bad. Dude, and I felt like this is such a missed opportunity. Like, when he found the helmet, if it was one of Maul's people's helmets with the spikes around
that probably would have fit better with all the timeline shit, and especially the way that they ended it with Clone Wars. That would have made more sense.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that was my thought when I was watching it. I was like, dude. And when he picked it up, I thought it was going to come out of the sand, and I was like, fuck. You know,
yeah. Either that or it was a helmet from one of the other clans. Because, I mean, they were basically having a civil war at that point.
Exactly. And that's why it was cool.
Because it was Gar Saxon's. It was Gar Saxon's clan that was with Maul.
Yeah.
And then actually Ren's clan too.
Correct.
Because in that Clone Wars, like
I think
that's her mother, I think, that's with them.
Yes.
They show. And then they'd even admit later in Rebels, they're like, yeah, we were wrong and shouldn't have followed him. And then it ends up being that then they're at odds with Gar Saxon because Gar Saxon just joined the Empire.
Yeah.
I agree with you real quick, though. Any nod to Maul, I'm all for.
Yeah,
I would have popped so hard if I would have saw it. Because I even know what the spikes on the Mandalorian helmet mean. It means they followed Maul.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so, like,
exactly.
And that's the coolest part of it, too, is that, like, technically that was the last ruler of Mandalore that won by trial of combat.
Right.
I mean, so that would have been even
right, again,
cooler
the Charlie Day meme, smoking the cigarette with all the whiteboard. It's like Darth Maul explaining to everyone how he's still really the ruler of Mandalore.
Technically. That is correct. So they stole it from me.
Bring him back.
Okay, so we get through everything. We get some more history lessons. Bo-Katan tells Din how, hey, check yourself. I was a princess of the freaking planet. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Like Ron Swanson in Parks and Rec in the warehouse or in the Lowe's or whatever he's in. I know more than you.
Yeah.
Like that's what she's trying to say to him, and he's like, oh, like. You know, first of all, I thought he was going to strip naked, and he was just... I was like, is he about to just get naked in front of her? Are we going to have some...
And she was looking at him all like...
Is Phil Collins going to start playing? Like, you know...
well, I think when he actually started getting the water and he started saying his creed, I think she was actually moved by it.
She was.
I think she was actually moved by his dedication.
She is... Listen, Mandalorians are more...
Because he's a foundling. He's not he really isn't a real Mandalorian.
Right.
Well, and also the thing is, it's like, regardless, all Mandalorians, regardless of how much they fight each other over trivial shit, they still all have a creed that they follow.
They got a lot of, beliefs, big belief system.
Yeah, they're like, honestly, the most comparable society to Mandalorian culture are the Spartans.
Right.
I mean...
That's why they're so fucking cool.
That's why they're so cool, and they're badasses.
Yeah.
And they're legendary.
And it's literally why the fandom, I think, just eats it up and we just want more of it
Star
because it's like
Wars.
True.
You know?
Yeah. You're right.
At the end of the day, what hits? Wars in the stars.
I will say, even back like in playing like the Old Republic games, I always thought the Mandalorians were super fucking cool. Like Mandalorians.
Yeah.
It was cool in this scene though when they go down to the living waters. They make it there, like they're on the way, obviously, taking in all the sights and everything.
Yeah.
And then you see when they go into it, she's like, "There it is." Like for her, take a gander,
right?
And the cool thing
for her, it's played out crap.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the cool stark differences. Honestly, in my opinion, that I think Din is starting to break down between Child of the Watch and Mandalorian mainstream culture, is that he's showing the princess of the mainstream Mandalorian culture that I'm still a Mandalorian. We're all still Mandalorians, and I still do and take heed of Mandalore the Great and everything that he held true. And I think that he might be, and I think we've talked about this before last season. We were projecting he's going to be the one to bring together Mandalore. She's going to lead, but he'll bring together.
And as he's saying his creed as he gets into the waters, and then I saw it coming that he was going to get pulled in.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just typical setup with Star Wars. Like, this is going to happen. It's going to be the next big highlight thing in this episode now.
I feel like I just saw this last episode with a kid.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's true.
Or the Susan Breyer. So he gets sucked in. It's basically what I was assuming. So she dives in after him. She just goes head first, goes to save him again.
Just not even a thought about it.
Not even a thought.
The jetpack,
yeah. He's in the jetpack to go, and I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, okay, she's chasing him because he's being dragged away by like a creature. Because she seems to like be controlling it. I'm guessing it was like a current or something, a vacuum that just kind of pulled him.
Well, probably the creature created that vacuum that pulled him and allowed her to move through it because of how big said monster actually is.
Well, it was just so weird to me. I don't know. And then he's just like, then she finds him. He's just laying there, like probably basically drowning. And I was like, okay, this is really weird. Like now he's just laying there. Like, what, did the creature ditch him? And I'm thinking like, okay, it's like a trap for both of them. And she starts to go up, and then you just see an eye, and I was like, oh, there's a big sea monster. But then we pan out, and then you see the tusks, and I was like, oh, shit! I said what she said, holy shit! I was like, did not think at all. Like, that was an awesome Easter egg.
Dude,
it was so sick.
I lost my shit in this scene.
Yeah.
I was sicker than a dog, and I stood up, and I was like, let's fucking go!
Yes, finally, yes!
Dude, I mean, and the foreshadowing didn't even prepare me for what this was.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they were foreshadowing with all her history lessons and all this shit. And it's like, yeah, here's the very last big one.
And Cavill, like, from the first season, when he was making fun of Mando for not being able to train one of those little creatures that runs across the planet, he says, your ancestors trained the great mythosaur.
Right.
And I'm like, sitting there, I'm like, you're going to fucking do it, aren't you? You're going to do it.
Well, right, so that's now the speculation is people are like, oh my god, Din's going to ride that mythosaur.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
I think when you shine a light into something like that's eyes and it sees you and then it moves away, I'm pretty sure that it could have killed the both of you and it didn't. I think it didn't because Bo-Katan was there.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I think that it's when she looked up and she saw an eye and her light went on it and it moves away after it had just drug his ass all the way to the bottom.
Right.
I mean, I think what we're seeing is the passing of the power from where it is to where it should be. Mm-hmm. And I think that mythosaur, I mean, because, dude, so for those of you who don't know, and this is probably most of you, Mandalore at one point was full of mythosaur.
Right, yeah.
Like, covered the planet. And there were natives of Mandalore that hung around and killed a ton of them because that was their battle test, their test of metal, And so, killed a bunch of them off, and then around 7,000 BBY, the Tong occupy Mandalore. which is another theory that the Tong are the Alamites as they've been like evolving through time, because because the Alamites, they have 4 eyes and tusks and stuff like that. Well, the Tong basically drove Mythosaur to extinction, essentially, by the time that Mandalore the Great even did what he did and trained one of them. Mm-hmm. So this is insane. I mean, the fact that there is, I mean, obviously that's the first mine on Mandalore where they found Beskar, and that's why it's so important to them. And obviously the living waters and the Beskar and everything's all mixed together, and that's how they, that's their lifeblood, of the planet. And it's still intact. There's a live Mythosaur in the mines below the living waters. That is the symbol that brought Mandalore together in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Was the Mythosaur.
Their logo.
Yeah, that's on Boba Fett's armor. It's the Mythosaur skull with the tusks.
Right.
So
honestly, well, along with you guys giving me knowledge, like, as soon as I saw the tusk too, the same with him, I was like, what the fuck is this sea monster? And then I saw a tusk, I was like, I know what that is.
As soon as I saw it, when they moved it back and I saw the tusk, I was like,
dude, I was so hype, bro. So hype.
Yeah.
So hype. And my God, it's so cool, because all this stuff is stuff that you thought was a pipe dream a couple years ago.
Or always thought was a pipe dream.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, never thought we'd get the cool stuff that they made in the animations like this, and now we're
getting it. Finally getting it. Oh my God, dude, it's just so cool, man. I mean, I think obviously, like I say, my current theory is that Mando will pass this. I think he'll be involved in the unification of Mandalore, but I think Bo-Katan with the Mythosaur, on the Mythosaur, possibly, with the dark saber. Armor ain't gonna say nothing about that. The Armorer can't say anything about that, and I think that we're getting a nod. We already got a kind of a confirmation of that from the Armorer last episode when she tells him, "You're no Mandalorian. You're an apostate." He's like, "Well, if I go and bathe in the waters under Mandalore, then I'll be redeemed." And she's like, "Mandalore is no more. It's da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But if I bathe in the waters under Mandalore, I'm redeemed." Again, basically. And she just nods. Because she has to. She doesn't want to.
I feel like he's going to get in front of a lot of them and ignite the saber and be like, "You have to follow me." And so a lot of them are going to be like, "Okay." And then he's going to be like, "Come check this out."
Yeah.
Or something.
"Let me show you the truth."
Yeah.
And then...
I mean, we've seen from the trailers that came out before the show started that he definitely runs around and gets a lot of them together.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're either going to do that, or they're going to start with ones that, Bo-Katan, knows for certain from her own clan or house. She's like, "Okay, I know these people will follow you once you show them that sword."
Yeah. Because she was House...
That's very true.
Yeah.
She was House
It makes
Kree's,
sense to start there.
House Kree's Clan Vizsla, right? Or was it
It's House Vizsla, Clan Kreese.
That's it. House Kreese, yeah. Sorry, I always get that mixed up. But no, I think that'll be the first to go, because obviously we see so much blue. I mean, we see so much blue.
I love that color scheme.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's, I don't know. I just... I stand pretty hard with Bo-Katan about as much as Ahsoka, because
she was the owls, right? She read the owls were her thing, right?
For Bo-Katan?
Yeah. Was it Bo-Katan?
Yeah, it's an owl that's
owls.
Painted in the mask.
That's right. Yeah, the owls. Yeah, because I'd
have to go back and watch Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah,
our mutual friend said, he was like, "I'm going to finally watch Clone Wars after years of saying I'd start it." So then I went and Googled. I was like, "Okay, I've got to get the watch order for him." I will go and Google it and send it to him. And I'm like, there's the watch order, the episode list. And he goes, "Jesus, why is it out of whack?" And I just said, I strongly recommend you watch it in this order, because if you don't, you're just going to watch it and be like, "What the it's jumping all over the place."
Yeah.
Sad part is I don't think he's going to.
He's not.
Because he was like, "That's way too much work."
Well, dude, I mean...
and what's funny is, when you actually look at it, it's really not a lot of work. You got to jump around a little bit in the first 3 seasons, but for the most part, then once you get to, season 4, it's pretty much standard. It's just all of them in a row.
Yeah. And honestly, the thing is, it wouldn't be bad and I guess I'm a purist when it comes to that. Is enjoy it as they gave it to us. Enjoy it as they gave it to all of us.
See, but I never watched it.
Okay. Yeah. So
I watched it later in my life.
Okay.
I never watched it as a kid or in high school and stuff.
Yes.
Hell, even in early college. Like, I didn't really get into the animated shows and stuff until I was an adult. And I think I remember even texting you one time. I was like, yeah, hey, thanks for never spoiling this shit for me because, yeah, watching the Maul and Sidious fight with his brother is dope.
One of the best fights.
Like, I never knew that was coming. I remember watching it for the first time. I was like, oh my god, this has been here the whole time? This is amazing.
Did you know that Savage Opress was the only one to fight, I think, all of the actual, like, prominent Sith in, like, the old Republic or the Republic
or that area, that universe or that time period? Well, yeah, because he's trained by Dooku.
Yeah.
And then he's told to kill Asajj, but then she convinces him to go try to kill Dooku. They both get owned. So then they have to separate. Then he finds his brother. So then he and his brother are like, okay, let's go kill Dooku or something. In his
spoilers, Jan.
Yeah. Well, they try to kill Kenobi too when he's working with when he's.
But he doesn't really know who Kenobi is yet until he gets with his brother.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously they fight Palps.
Right.
Get murked in like quick fashion.
Very quick fashion.
With a dual wielding Palpatine. 2 red lightsabers, which is dope.
And I like how Palpatine kept them all alive just because Palpatine basically was like, I like the fact that you're just some chaotic element.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact that
Palpatine was basically like, well, it's not good for me that you're around, but it's also not bad either.
Yeah, and you're still my puppet at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, you still fear the hell out of me, so I can basically manipulate you all I want.
Yep, and he pretty much does. Because, honestly, here's the thing. The only person who knew the real truth behind everything that was going on was fucking Maul.
Right, yeah.
If the universe...
That is so cool, too, how at the very end of Clone Wars, he's trying to tell Ahsoka, like, no, you don't understand.
And he spells out what happens to Ahsoka about what happens with, I won't spoil for everybody, including you, of what actually happens, but they don't believe him because of who he is. And, again, the Jedi being too righteous was their downfall.
Well, she just didn't want to believe that her master was...
Because he would never do that. He's a master Jedi. He's a Jedi Knight.
Remember, the thing that happens with the father, the son, and the daughter gets wiped from their memory. So he doesn't remember the whole... I actually went to the dark side there for a minute, and then...
Yeah,
spoilers all around there. Buddy old pal that watches this thing.
Dude. That the father, the son, or the father, son, and the sister, that episode.
That's pretty cool. And
it's gold.
The daughter / sister, the light side is actually still around?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Because they've never mentioned that planet since.
We haven't seen it live action, but...
It'd be hard to do. Extremely hard to do right.
Well, you're just going to see a flying bird around, and again, it's an Easter egg thing. Like, only you and I are going to know what that is.
Ahsoka and stuff.
Yeah, we'll see if she shows up in the Ahsoka series.
Oh, why?
Because that's the whole point, is like she follows Ahsoka around.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think on that planet, in Legends, and this is just a fun fact, I think from that planet, the strongest force-wielding creature in the universe comes from that planet, and Grandmaster Luke in the books fights it and loses. So it's like I can't remember all the details behind it, but I read the book. It's awesome. It's a good read.
Right.
So what do you guys give Mando this week?
All this out. 10. 10.
Yeah, IGN, take that score.
Yeah,
double it.
Shove that score up where the sun don't shine.
Oh yeah, that's a bad score. That fucking 5. Come on, Jesus.
10 for me because of nostalgia, and I stand Bo-Katan pretty hard. So
I'm gonna go 9.
I'm 9.5.
This episode was fucking hype. When Bo-Katan picked up that Darksaber, I was all about it.
That's a big, that is a big part of like where I'm like, okay, they really got me here with this one. This whole sequence is amazing.
With the Mythosaur.
Then the Mythosaur at the end, I was like, okay.
So we're about to do this. So Mandalorian's still alive and well. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Plus we got a little subtle arc with Grogu on him actually kind of stepping up a little bit. Especially when they tie
he throws the...
Yeah, we forgot all about that.
Throws the Alamite out of the cave.
Oh,
pretty hard.
Get out. I want to know what he did to him inside.
Even tried to step up and crush the cage that he was in. He failed, but
that's right.
He tried.
That's right. I forgot about that. And we also forgot about another big point. He says I didn't. He says his first word. It's not his first word, but clearly he says his first word, Patu.
Okay.
We don't know what it means. He said it a million times
Probably
before.
means dad.
Well, that's what people are thinking because even when they're down, I can't remember. I think they were down in the ruins and they're talking, and he says something to him. He's like, "Oh, that doesn't look good, Patu." He says it again, and then when she's holding him in the scrapyard, she says again. I think there's some people are thinking that it's like an acknowledgement of somebody of something they say or something that somebody says, like a hello. It's like a synonymous with hello and and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Like how aloha means goodbye and hello, in his language, patu could mean 5 different things.
Yeah,
but. Super cool moment too that we saw multiple times, and apparently, allegedly, he's done it in other episodes, but it was much less clear. So he's growing up. Grogu's growing up.
He's growing up before our very
murking Alamites and throwing them out of caves. So we got 9, 9, 5, and 10.
10.
Well, that should bring it into the Star Wars, boys. If we need to get into Last of Us, I know we're getting close. So
I think we should have enough time to wrap it up.
You should. It's got the actual factory battery in there. So hopefully that camera lasts for at least 25 more minutes. Not that this is going to be 25 more minutes.
It shouldn't be. We should be able to get through this one pretty succinctly.
The episode 8, correct? Yeah, the David episode.
Yep.
Been waiting for this one.
This was... all interesting.
Very.
So we open up with Ellie hunting in winter, shoots a deer.
She didn't get the kill shot right away.
Had to track it.
Tracker.
Runs into Dave and...
Troy's the actor that plays the guy.
Yeah, Troy Big, yep.
That was Joel's
his name's
character.
James? Fuck, I'm not going to look it up. Troy Big, we're just going to call him Troy
Baker.
Baker.
So the actor...
Who played Joel. That was him.
You mean the voice actor?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool.
So,
it was cool. He said that he would have been happy being a clicker. Mm-hmm. So he was happy that he got to play that role.
Yeah, because he gets to play kind of like a pivotal moment.
Yeah, because, I mean, and then they open this episode... it's just interesting because they first show us this whole, outpost area where all these people are staying, and you get the feeling right away that, this is, some religious sect cult thing because he's preaching the Bible at them, and they're all I mean just the round table.
I'm getting
a little ahead here, but they're literally acting like sheep.
In the beginning
you can even hear background voices of people that are kind of descending on David running and stuff like that. You can tell there's starting to be a little bit of a fallout, that they're not starting to believe in him as much as maybe they used to.
Yeah.
We can just say it. He's basically
because they're dying out.
Yeah.
He's basically kind of running a cult because he's spewing this religious stuff that he doesn't actually believe.
Yeah,
he's just running this to control these people.
Yeah.
And
because
I found the Bible.
After
the apocalypse.
They find the deer that she's tracking, and they're like, "Okay, well, let's hurry up, get it." I mean, we don't know who the hunter is, and then she just says, "Drop your guns," and
I'll put one right between your eyes.
right between your eyes.
Directly from the game, right?
Yep.
That's what I heard.
And so. David, for a weird reason, even though they could have just probably have killed her first, he just kind of tells his buddy, it's fine. It's totally cool. Go get her some medicine.
Well, and it's so cool because even in that moment, he sees her value. You know, like to what he's to where he's at. You know, obviously she can hunt. She's a kid.
Right.
It's a girl. I thought there was going to be more into the girl part of it, which there kind of was.
There was a little hint to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, then something actually later, actually, yeah, it was definitely.
Yeah, I mean, there was a hint to it.
It's like right before her big moment, actually.
Yeah. But anyways, so the dude's going off back to where their camp is, whatever. He's getting this food and medicine so she can help Joel. That's like when they're having not really a heart-to-heart, but a conversation, and he's like telling her, he's like, right? Or a little bit at first, right?
He's trying to like buy her trust in the beginning.
Yeah.
He's trying to open up and show that he's like friendly and.
Oh, because he starts to offer really that they could work together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, well,
I can protect you.
He's like, I can protect you. He's like, I mean, the two of you. He's like, I mean, you know, it's freezing out here. You can't be like doing much. I mean, he's like, we have like a whole.
Starts digging, and then that's how he puts the dots together of who she is.
Yeah, and that's when he's like, you know, story of a wild man who killed one of their people or whatever, and he's like, and
he was with a young girl,
and he was with a young girl, and like they connect.
That's like
dots.
a big moment in the show.
And you're like,
Yeah, it's about, and then
well, here's what I don't.
Troy just
so what I don't like. What I don't like is they're talking about Pittsburgh, and I remember you said that they skipped over Pittsburgh in the beginning of the show. Like
you go to Pittsburgh in the game.
I was gonna say in the game. So I assume that this whole incident that's being kind of connected here on the dots with what he's talking about, and they're talking about it being in Pittsburgh. I'm guessing in the game you go through that event, right?
Yeah, probably. I can't quite remember what he said about Pittsburgh.
I'm just saying, like, that to me was why that was a little down. It's like, oh, you skipped over this part, and fans even said you weren't really sure why, and then now you have this episode where you're referencing an event that happened there that we didn't even see play out.
And there's also one thing that was missing from this episode that I wish they would have kept from the game, and it has to do with Dave building the trust with Ellie. There's a point. And this is kind of a point to some people that are complaining that there's not enough zombies, is there's a part in the game where Ellie gets attacked by zombies and David saves her. So that's another reason where you're like, oh, maybe I can trust this guy. So then when it turns out you can't, it's kind of a little bit more devastating in that fact. 'Cause you're like, oh shit, we thought we found one good person, but no, he's just a cannibal.
Oh yeah, like that's as crazy as like
they got that. They got hinted at that too. They're like, "What is it today?"
Venison.
Yeah,
dude. When
that was weird. Like
watching the daughter and the wife eat him, because the one that he killed in the beginning, or he killed last episode, is the one they're eating. That's supposed to be the
insinuation.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why
they run low on food.
Yeah, they kill.
And she's crying in the opening, you know, and he's telling her it's gonna be okay, and and then whack, smacks it out of her.
Oh yeah.
So you start to see the cracks of who this. Of course, that's probably why they didn't include that scene, was because they kind of showed David's cracks a little early in the episode of how he's not really that good of a guy. When in the game, it's kind of set up that like, oh, maybe we can trust this guy, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh fuck, we can really not trust this guy.
And then he's like still trying to cope with Ellie, and he's like, hey, I was just a school teacher before all this happened, and he's like telling her how these people just kind of pseudo made me their leader, and I just started preaching the Bible, and they eat the shit up, and. Yeah, she notices, like, the chopped ear off, and she's like, you're gonna fucking eat me or something, is what she says, and he's like...
Chop me up into little bits.
Chop me up into little bits. Yeah, pieces.
Yeah. And then, obviously, he starts talking about how he's always had that violent side of him, and...
Sees it in her.
Sees it in her, because she's a survivor, and she could be a leader with him to help, like, corral and keep the people in line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how he sees her value, and I wish she said, "Are you gonna chop me up into little pieces?" I'd rather not.
Yeah.
No, but I will. It's
like, and then like he even goes to show his trust in her, and he like obviously sticks his hands through the bars, and then she like grabs them, and then
breaks his finger.
She breaks his finger.
Tries to grab the keys.
He's trying to grab the keys.
He starts wanging.
He's like, all right, you had your chance. I'll be right back. And
I do like the moment where he's like, "What am I supposed to tell him now?" And she's like, "Tell him," or no, she just goes, "Ellie." He's like, "Huh?" She's like, "Tell him Ellie's the one that broke your fucking finger." Because she wouldn't tell him her name until that point. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, because also that was kind of a.
That's also from the game too, I think.
And it's cool because that's her attempt at humanizing herself finally before she's gonna probably be eaten. It gives it. It's hard. It's like when you're hunting, don't name the deer.
Yeah.
Don't name the deer because you're gonna have to dress it and cook it and eat it. So don't get personal with it. So much like a dog that you're not gonna keep, don't name it. Get attached.
And then meanwhile, we then cut over to Joel, who's conscious because he got his medicine earlier from Ellie, and then he starts stumbling around trying to find. He finds. Two people and interrogates the shit out of them. Dude,
that knife in the knee. Just wow. Oh my god. Yeah. You imagine how much that would fucking hurt.
He's like, tell me what he says something to him. I can't remember exactly.
Pop his kneecap.
He's
out.
Like, he's like, you're gonna tell me what I want to hear. I'll pop your kneecap off. I was like,
and when he holds up the map, he puts the knife in his mouth and goes, he better point to the same place as you.
Yeah.
I was like, that's perfect, actually.
He like points and then he just stabs him in the heart, and the other guy's like, no. It's like, he told you what you wanted.
I ain't telling you shit.
He's like, I ain't telling you shit. He's like, that's okay, because I know he was telling me the truth. And he just goes and beats his face in. I was like, oh, this is sick. This is what we've been hearing about, how Joel's this big bad man, the whole time.
Well, now that Ellie's not around, and that's who he's searching for, you get to see a little bit more of the true Joel now, the more vicious.
Yeah, she's become Sarah to him at this point.
Oh, so, 100%. Well, you get that confirmation at the very end of this episode.
Yes, you do.
And
yes, you do.
So I guess that was the end of that, because then it pans back to her, Troy and David come back in. They're gonna drag her out.
I'm pretty sure it's James.
I think it is James or something.
But I like Troy.
he's the man. He's a great voice actor. He's Troy. Looks like they're either gonna looks like they're just gonna kill her, honestly.
Yeah.
But then she says that she's infected, so they can't chop her up and eat her. And also she also bit David too, so kind of confuse him a little bit, like, oh, are you infected now, motherfucker?
Yeah, because it turns Troy against the kind of he's looking at him like,
what is this?
Yeah, like, oh shit.
And in that, David also realized, if it's that old, it's not real, or basically,
you'd be turned by now.
Yeah. But in that moment of hesitation, she grabs it, and poor Troy, just a piece,
just gets
right in the neck, dude.
It was so sick, though.
So brutal and awesome.
Just leaning against the wall, just.
Dude.
I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Don't care, you two.
David ends up getting on top of Ellie because they fight on the floor. He gets on top, and they insinuate that he's gonna. I definitely know we can't say this word on YouTube, so we'll just the R word. We'll say the R word.
Like you said, it was kind of weirdly you kind of. I don't know. It was it seemed like with the whole their interactions, as it kind of got progressively worse with David. Mm-hmm. I kind of saw it coming, but I still was kind of I don't think they'll do it. But then at the end, when I just went there, and I was like, oh man, he was even a school teacher, so he was just a bad person.
Yeah, and it did, and it's also kind of a reflection on society.
What was his line
anywhere?
Mm-hmm. What was his line there is no fear in love, or there is no love in fear.
Something like that.
Which kind of echoes the point about, they kind of, he even referenced it earlier that the fungus loves too, but kind of a weird twisted logic way of doing that. But then Ellie gets one final reach and gets the knife and just hacks a dude.
just guts this dude.
Just goes ham.
And
That's crazy.
I will say
Just
that
give her the award now, because I got really just as soon as she snapped, I got teary eyed a little bit. I was like, she let it all out there. Like
the revenge fantasy part of it was amazing. Like that's you want to see as the audience, you want to see that revenge fantasy. Like she actually like gives him his just desserts. But when I said earlier this week, when I think we brought this episode up and we're like, yeah, we'll save it for next, and I was like, yeah, I loved it, but it's one thing. Okay, here's the one thing. I want to see it. AMC put what's his name getting his face bashed in by a baseball bat. Why can't I see her chunking pieces out of his face? Like, just show it, you chicken shits. Like, you're HBO. You had a guy on... Same actor.
Didn't we watch the bloater rip that guy's head?
Didn't I? Wait, HBO. Didn't I watch a show you made
they
where
showed it like split and then they cut away?
Yeah, where he literally rips it. Yeah, exactly.
Rips his head right up.
Yeah, it rips his head, rips him in half, literally. Like, just show it. HBO, the same company who you had a show where a big ass dude took Pedro Pascal took his face and plunged his thumbs into his eye sockets and then crushed his skull against the ground. You showed it, but this, you're like, yeah, we're not going to show just meat cleaver cleaving into a person like several times. Like, just show it. And then the other thing that I was kind of like, okay, what? Like, where was the blood splatter on her? There was like barely any. I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Depends on where she hit him.
I was going to say, I guess it makes sense because it would just kind of go down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It depends on where she hit him. I mean,
so, not to take anything away from it, but I was just disappointed because I wanted to see the gore. Yeah. I wanted to see the violence. Like, you showed me the violence, but you didn't show me, like...
You didn't actually show me that piece of shit get his comeuppance.
Right.
Yeah. And we just
I wanted you gave me a little revenge fantasy. I wanted the ultimate revenge fantasy.
Absolutely. Give me Terrifier.
Right. Sidebar real quick. That's why I actually want to watch those movies, like the horror slasher movie about the guy that's blind, but he uses his senses to kill all the teenagers.
What is that?
I can't remember.
Is that Don't Move or
something like that? I actually wouldn't mind to watch that.
It's kind of like A Quiet Place, but it's kind of like a different twist.
I actually want to watch those movies because, actually, from what I understand, the plot of them is that they're revenge fantasy movies. Like or at least maybe the sequel is, where he is like this badass killer. And I think it might just be the second one, where then the second one is like these bad people are coming to like kill him and like this girl that he cares for, but it's revenge. It's like a twist revenge where like, no, he's the guy that's gonna F y'all up. So that's like, I don't know. I need to check those out. I don't remember what they're called though.
I need to check it out too because I've never even heard of that. So I'm excited to. Okay. That sounds great.
And then. Yeah, shortly after that scene, Ellie runs out and runs into Joel, and she obviously freaks out because she doesn't know it's Joel.
She's in shock.
And then we get the key line, "It's okay, baby girl."
Yep.
And he has not called anybody that other than his daughter.
Okay.
So that was him fully just like, yep, this is my daughter now.
Yep. And that's what I got from this whole episode. This is what it took, and now he is all in.
So in typical HBO fashion, your penultimate is amazing.
Yep.
So now we'll probably get some...
Oh, I can't wait for you guys to see this next episode.
If it's going to be good, that's great. Because the typical fashion with HBO shows that the season finale is like, okay, yeah, that was really good, but not great. Typically with their shows. But... This one is modeled after a video game, so maybe this one will be a straight-up banger.
If I remember right, you guys didn't play the game, right?
I did not play the game.
I can't wait to see what you guys think of the ending.
I played 2 hours of the trial, that's it.
I can't wait to see what you guys think of the ending.
Well, anyways.
I'll give this one a solid, I think I told myself, 8.7. I think I told myself earlier in the week.
I was like about an 8.5 for me.
That's what I exactly.
Because like I said, if you would have shown me his face getting cleavered, then I'd rate this a little higher.
Yeah, it's true.
And I know that's like the lamest kind of judge to bring an episode down a little, but I just don't want to see it.
Yeah, show me the thing. Show me the whole thing.
But, I mean, the series has been killing it, so Just hopefully it sticks the landing.
Sticks the landing.
Dude, if it
That's all you
sticks the
gotta
landing,
do.
this thing is legendary. I mean,
even if it doesn't, the second season is still going to come out.
right,
and,
true.
Yeah.
They
people
could,
are gonna watch it.
they could cliffhanger us on something.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the next season, and we're gonna get the TikTok New York shots of like how it was for House of the Dragons. Everyone turning on The Last of Us, like all the apartments, like at the same time.
Yeah.
Just
Oh yeah, of course.
That'll be sick.
we'll be sick.
But I think that wraps
That
up this
wraps
week,
it
huh,
up.
boys?
It does.
As always, thank you so much for watching or listening. And hey, if you can't watch us on YouTube, you can't have YouTube up all the time. You need an audio version only. Find us on Spotify. Over there as well. Also on Twitter, official T3P. I don't do enough plugging of our Twitter. That's
okay.
been kind of inactive for other than just posting the episodes. We'll get back on actually posting news here soon.
We can try, but like, I gotta, we do this part time. This is after our real jobs, so I can't like be on Twitter at my job. Like,
So like, subscribe, get us to the point where this can be our main job.
Yeah. If you could, please, that'd be great. Because this is a passion of mine.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it'd be great because obviously a lot of that time would go into a lot more
Not
production.
that I don't like my job. My job's fine. My job's actually awesome.
But
Get to take a week off and 3 weeks with this guy over here from across from me. So
Let's go.
oh boy,
Can't wait. That's going to be an interesting trip.
alrighty.
Floribama doesn't know what's coming, man. Yeah, because they haven't seen, idiots just come down there to party.
Oh no,
ever.
See, here's the thing. I stay away from the mainstream bullcrap down in most downtown areas and all that. I don't go to clubs. I just go to the little beach bars where I can walk. So like, dude, there'll be times.
I'm not gonna drag you into club. Like, dude,
Oh, no,
we're
no.
too old for clubs.
Oh, no.
But just bars, whatever. Yeah, we'll go there.
So what I do, I just get out. I walk outside of the condo and I just walk. I'll just start walking. And dude, if I see a bar that looks cool, I go inside and have a
Life
beer.
is a long, hard walk.
When is this trip?
April 1st.
April 1st. So
Through the
we'll be
8th.
gone. We'll be gone pretty much.
So I got a solo episode.
Might have, well, that or we
can
just
remote
take,
in.
We can either remote in or maybe we just take the 2 weeks off. Because really, we're gonna leave. At like 3 or 4 in the morning, technically, that Saturday.
Yeah, if not earlier. I might leave at like midnight, 1 o'clock.
So I would say, up to you guys. Like, maybe we record that Friday
Before we leave.
and then we just have a week off.
Yeah, because usually I'll get a couple hours. I can get a couple hours of sleep after we record, and then hop in the car and we just drive all the way through.
Yeah.
So probably won't do a solo episode, but yeah, sure. If certain news drops, maybe I'll just post solo videos from my phone just directly to YouTube about news updates. Just hey, here's what's going on this week. Blah blah blah. Other
That
than
might
that,
not be a bad thing for us to do anyway.
but yeah, true. Yeah, thanks so much. If you guys stayed in.
I'll post videos
bullshit.
of me and this genius on a beach. Make y'all jealous.
Please like, subscribe, and comment what you'd like us to talk about, or if you got any suggestions for
I'm a very
us.
humble person.
But until next time, thanks for tuning in. I'm your boy, J Sib.
And I'm the humble KP.
And it's just the bull.
See ya later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.